And that's tenacious.
Hello, hi, and how are you? Welcome to the Tenacious Time Podcast. I am the hostess with the mostest, the man with the vape who will make you escape with his words, Ricky Tenacious. Welcome to the inaugural second episode of the Tenacious Time Podcast. Here we are back live recording, all that really good stuff. I want to thank everyone who's tuning in right now and listening in on my sexy, super sexy voice. The most sexiest in the world, of course. Let's go and get right into the show. Before we get into the lovely guest I have in store for us, I promised you all that I would tell you all this story of how it is I became to be an announcer for Future Stars of Wrestling. As most of you know, I'm a regular professional wrestler for Big Valley Wrestling, and I've also wrestled a few matches for FSW as well, Future Stars of Wrestling. A lot of people will ask me, how did the whole ring announcing thing come about? I mean, you're a wrestler, and you're an announcer over here, and blah, blah, blah. So this is how it happened. It was Twist of Fate 2, FSW, live at the Silverton Casino. I showed up about an hour early to say hi and hang out with a few of my wrestler friends, I guess you could say. And so I went backstage, and out of all the people, Mike Delight, the bearded beauty, comes up to me, and he asked me if I have a suit. And fortunately enough, I actually did have a suit, because the day before this, I had a job interview, and I wore my fancy professional dress clothes, and after the interview, I had left them in the same car that I had taken to the event. And so, upon knowing that, he went and talked to promoter Joe DeFalco, and then before I know it, Joe DeFalco comes over to me. He asked me if I know how to announce. I say, yes, I do, and he has me be the announcer for that night. Now, honestly, at that point, I had never, ever announced in my life. Like, I'd never had a prior announcing job. I never really had any practice for it, but because of my experience with theater and just being on stage and my comfortability with being able to project and control my voice, I was very comfortable and confident that I could do a really good job of it. So I got on my suit, got everyone's names down, got all the information I needed, and I went out there, and in my opinion, I think for my first time, I knocked it out of the ballpark, because ever since then, I've been brought back to do the announcing. I'm having a lot of fun doing the announcing. I feel like I'm really good at it. I've, stumbled upon some not so humble people when it comes to how I announce them. Darwin. Yes. And like I said, you just really have to be there for stuff like this. In this business, even though it wasn't exactly a wrestling spot, it was still something that's really helped out with the show. I feel like my announcing adds to the show. I get multiple compliments every single show, sometimes from the same people, about my announcing, and I'm really just happy to be able to help out with the show and be a part of the show in general, and be able to pick up another trait that we all know as announcing. So that's the story of how I became an announcer for FSW. So let's go and get right into our lovely guest of today's podcast. He is a longtime friend. I've known him since I was in the 7th grade, and at the time I'm pretty sure he was like a senior. No, this is not some really like weird out of age consent law relationship that we had, or is it? He is a really cool guy. He's the guy who basically introduced me to the wonderful topic and subject and area of improvisational theater. I really don't think I would have gotten into it as much as I had in my theater career if it wasn't for this man. I really thank him. He's really awesome. He's the guy who brought me in to film or to act in his movie for the 48-hour film festival over this weekend. He's really awesome. He's cool. He's laid back. He's the man with the hair. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest at this time, Levi Valasquez. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me. And you could keep rolling off those compliments. I mean, we could just do an hour of that. That's fine.
The man in the flannel shirts. He does not eat any dirt. He's got the man with the mic. He's pretty hard, so he's got a spike.
I mean, you're no Reverend Al Sharpton, but I'll take it.
I was actually going to go for Dr. Seuss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just going to be this whole podcast is just me doing Dr. Seuss rhymes and stuff like that. So before we get into anything, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. Had a good nap. Then decided, I mean, really loving this amazing studio. I mean, it's crazy, like egg carton things, foam stuff on the walls. I mean, it's just so incredibly, definitely like no noises. Yeah, it's amazing.
I knew for sure, and expect you have to compliment the dog who lays with you the whole time you do the podcast.
It won't let me not pet him. That's for sure.
Yeah. If it was like a pog, I could say this is a pog cast.
That's all right. He deserves it. He wasn't allowed in the 48-hour film. So
that's right.
He could be in the podcast.
Yeah, our dog tried to get in on one of the scenes when we were filming, and he just loves to steal the spotlight. Just kind of like how he's stealing the spotlight right now, honestly. So speaking of filming and speaking of scenes like that, over this weekend I said if you read my Facebook post and you listened, I spoke about it very lightly in his introduction for Levi. This weekend, I participated as an actor in the 48-Hour Film Festival. If you don't know what that is, the 48-Hour Film Festival is a film festival, of course, that happens annually here in Las Vegas, where groups of filmmakers and actors will come together for 2 days of absolute hell that they submit themselves to.
Not only that, they pay to do it.
Yeah, they pay to do it as well. They have 48 hours to write, film, edit, render, act in, and just basically they have 2 days to fully make a movie and then turn it in by a certain deadline. That's why it's called the 48-Hour Film Festival. And then it is screened at the this year it was at the Palms Hotel and Casino. And then, of course, at the end of it all, there are some really cool awards that are presented. And I believe the first place award is their film gets screened at the Cannes Film Festival. That's what it is, right?
Not quite. The first place award is Best Film of the City. If you win Best Film of the City, then your film goes on to Filmapalooza, which is basically a giant film festival, and they screen all of the best films from around the world, everywhere from here in Las Vegas to Albuquerque, New Mexico to London.
Wow.
And if you win Best Film of the City, or Best Film at Filmapalooza, then you win $5,000 and your film gets screened at the Cannes Film Festival, and that is a tremendous honor if you can make that happen.
Wow, that is like a cherry on the cake of any filmmaker's career, honestly.
Absolutely.
So, Levi, let's go and get into some questions here. You've been, how many years have you done the 48 now?
So the first year I did it was 2012. I was still part of ITT Technical Institute, and us and the other students, me and the other students there, we got together. We decided someone had heard about it. It wasn't me. It was another student. Heard about the 48-Hour Film Festival, decided that we'd give it a try. So we asked our counselor at the time if she would be willing to sleep at the school for 2 days so that we could use the school as home base and use all the computers there, which, in retrospect, probably not the best idea. Those computers were absolute garbage. They were very old and took hours and hours and hours to render our film. But that was the first year that we did it, and we had moderate success, which just drove us to do it even more and more. And as you said, it is a hell of 2 days. You will never, you always hear people talk about how they're working on their second wind, or you're doing something for a long time, you're working 12-hour shift or a double shift or something, and someone asks you how you're doing, you're like, oh, I'm on my second wind here. Yeah, well, you have about 27 winds during the 48, and it's amazing the ups and downs that you go through during that competition. 1 minute you feel great, and the next minute you've never felt more tired in your entire life.
Definitely.
You go through so many ups and downs in that competition, and but at the end of the day, seeing your film on the big screen is nothing better than that.
Honestly,
nothing at all.
It's especially as a being in theater, even wrestling. For me, there's been the weeks because you're an actor as well, and you've been plays. We've both had the troubles with really dick directors at times, and we're just going. We come to rehearsals, we work really hard. We're there until 6 at night, and they say there's going to be food, and the food isn't even that great, if there is any food at all. Or they end up just like, oh, I have to go. They pull one of those cards.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just it just really sucks. But then, when the opening night comes and right before you step on stage and the light hits you, it's kind of the same thing with how this was, being able to see our faces on the big screen, people reacting to the jokes. Some of them, yeah, they didn't laugh at all the jokes we wanted, but just the general reaction we were able to drag out of people. That's really what it's all about. Just being able to entertain people and have them walk away saying, you know, that was some pretty cool stuff.
And that's all filmmaking is about. You know, if there's anyone listening who wants to try the 48, just remember, don't do it to try to win the $5,000 prize or to go to Cannes Film Festival. You do it so that you do it for the love of filmmaking. It's a challenge. Anyone who's worked on any sort of film, whether it be a short film or anything, knows how challenging it could be to make a film. Now condense that into 48 hours. And every creative process is done during the 48 hours, from sound design to the writing. Absolutely everything is done in that 48 hours. And that really puts a challenge, it puts a strain on people. We had a pretty interesting time because we only had a 7-man crew this year, which Ricky, you were one of.
Yes.
And so now let me ask you, how did you enjoy your first 48-hour film?
Okay, let's just get one thing straight here, okay? I'm the one who runs this podcast, okay? Not the other way around. We are at a table. You're not going to turn the tables on me just right now, okay? We're only like 10 minutes into this thing.
You know, I mean, I just, you know, I thought, you know, maybe this was, you know, the Ricky Tenacious / Levi Valasquez podcast. No.
Okay, so when you pay for the space of this awesome professional studio we're using...
Amazing studio, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, if you want to be on this show, you need to hit me up as soon as possible, because being able to be in here is a huge privilege. But yeah, I'll go ahead and answer your question, which was how my experience was for the 48.
Yeah, how did you enjoy your first ever 48-hour film festival?
Well, it was particularly long to me. I think it was actually, instead of like 48, I'd say maybe like...
you said you woke up an hour before I picked you up or so, right?
Yeah, we started at... like 9 in the morning because Levi had to pick me up so he could bring me to the studio where we would be editing and everyone, or our home base, as you could say, because I didn't have another way of transportation over there. So I had to spend 8 hours with him at his job. Luckily, there was Wi-Fi. If there was not Wi-Fi, I probably would have killed myself before anything started, honestly. It was really cool to meet some new people. Like I know you're the co-producer / writer and director, Ray. He had his brother there.
Yeah, our awesome director Ray was part of it. Ray Criswell. His brother was the boom operator and the sound guy.
One of the best damn boom operators I've ever seen.
Absolutely, he handled that pole like no one's business. His name's James Criswell. We had our lovely actors, myself, Ricky here, and Michael O'Brien, as well as Big Texas Hannibal, a.k.a. John Miller.
Yes.
They all did an amazing job, and then we had our production assistant, and he was probably, in my opinion, one of the most integral to the film. People don't give enough credit to the Gophers and to how important it is for someone to be there to get in a car and drive and get something that you need, especially during a 48-hour film when every minute counts. And that's Gareth Sampuong. He was our Gopher production assistant. Anything we needed, he did. And that was great. I don't believe I'm missing anyone.
Yeah, that's just about everyone. I'd also like to throw in a huge shout out for Garrig. Even though he wasn't in the film, he didn't even have a cameo or anything like that.
Gareth.
Oh, Gareth. Sorry. Gareth. Excuse me. Didn't have a cameo. One thing I will say, he's a hell of a Magic player. We played a lot of Magic when Levi was editing. Thank you for that, by the way. Yep. And he ran all the errands we needed. He was there for what we needed. Funny story here. We were filming one of the final scenes of the movie, not of the movie, but that we were filming here at my house. And he was so tired, along with everybody else. And he was sitting in a chair across the way from where we were filming, and he fell asleep. And so after we shot everything we needed, we were striking down, and pretty much we were all out of the house. And then I stayed there because I was going to wake him up, and I was right behind him, right behind the chair he was sleeping in. And he had woken up, and he basically had no idea. He pretty much thought that we just left him there, and his reaction was absolutely priceless. He wakes up like as if he like just had like he's in a dream, looks to the left, looks to the right, and he like gives like the most terrifying, oh shit, oh god, did they leave me, oh god, oh shit. I was like, dude, I'm right here, it's okay, we're about to leave. It was hilarious. But to finish answering your question, I think in total the experience was very interesting and not necessarily one I'd want to say I would want to do again, but at the same time I do want to do again. Very, very tiring experience. Just how tiring it is, we'll get in more later in the podcast. But as an actor, I was actually kind of impressed with myself because of how tired I was and how I would fall asleep and then they'd wake me right up and I was able to go right back into the scene, back into character and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the film comes out in a couple weeks on YouTube. I'm sure Ricky will share and post it and everything. But one scene to look out for that relates to what you were just talking about. There's a scene in the film where Ricky has a full breakfast platter in front of him.
Yes.
And when we were filming that scene, it was like third to last scene. At this point, we had all been up for easily over 50 hours.
Definitely.
And Ricky was definitely taking the time with no sleep the hardest out of the crew.
Definitely, yep.
And you were sitting there in the passenger seat of the car that we were filming in, and we would set up the camera, get it ready to go, shut the driver's side door so that the other actor, Michael, could walk in, and then Michael, I would say action, and then I saw Mikey waving inside of the driver's window and snapping his fingers, and I was like, what are you doing? Just do the scene. And then I looked through through the window, and Ricky is out. He is just drooling into the breakfast platter, just completely out. And so we have to open the door, wake Ricky up, say, okay, we're about to do the scene, shut the door, do the scene, and then we would set up for the next shot, and then we have to do it all over again because he would be asleep immediately. As soon as basically as soon as we said cut, scene over, Ricky was down.
Just to reiterate how tired I was, I believe we stayed up on because we got our information for the film at
7 o'clock.
Yeah, 7 o'clock. You guys came back. Luckily we had an idea right away, or you guys did.
Yep.
So me, you, and Ray immediately started writing the script. I believe Michael was involved on it too.
Showed up. Yep.
And I think we spent probably a total of 4 hours on the script. You say?
Yeah, 4 or 5 hours. I think we got done with the script around midnight.
Yeah.
And then we spent about 30-45 minutes setting up all the equipment, grabbing it, putting it in the cars, and then we came here to your house to film the opening scene of the movie. Unfortunately, me, being a bad producer, forgot the batteries to the cameras, so we only had one battery that was basically already dead. So we filmed as long as we could, which lasted about an hour, but then we realized when we were done that we were going to have to come back and reshoot all of it anyways because the lighting would be different the next morning.
Definitely, yeah.
So, so that was a wasted few hours, and then we get back. I think we all had enough chance to get about an hour of sleep.
Yeah.
But then 4:35 a.m. rolled around, and it was twilight hour, and got to get back up and start filming again. So we came out, I think in total, I don't know about the rest of the guys, but I know how long you were up and I know how long I was up. In total, I think I was up 62 hours minus 4. I got 4 hours of sleep through the whole thing. But the whole experience for me was 62 hours. So for you, I would imagine it'd be that, but minus 13, 14, because you were out for quite a while once filming was done.
Yeah, after we filmed at my house that first night, we got back and I got about an hour of sleep, and then I remember just closing my eyes, and then before I knew it, Ray was waking me up, telling me, "Hey, it's time to go," and driving over to the spot where we would be filming for about, I'd probably say the better part of 10 hours in that one spot for all those driving scenes.
Absolutely.
I was just dozing off, and I was standing for a lot of the filming, and I had to sit down. You really have to put yourself in this situation to know just how tired and exhausted you are going to be. And then once finally, it felt like the day was not going to end. We just had so much to film, and then finally, when we finally got back, I finally got a chance to lay down, and I was out for probably a good 8 hours of rest, very well needed. So with that being said, we're talking about the experience. Let's take everybody along just what it was actually like, especially you, the writer, producer, and actor. You were basically there we were all there for most of it, but I think anyone who's, especially you, having done it 4 times now,
Yep.
you know it better than anybody here. So walk us through the 48 hours of the 48-hour film festival.
All right. Well, all right. So it starts off with just the technicalities. The 48-hour actually starts before the 48-hour film festival. There are a few things you are allowed to do, as in procure equipment, scout locations, and gather a crew. But once that's done, it's just a waiting game. Once 7 o'clock comes around Sunday night, you send a representative, which was myself this year, down to the kickoff event. At the kickoff event, you draw a genre out of a hat. That's your genre. That's what you have to film. And then, in order to make it a little, just throw another wrench into the situation. They also draw a prop, a character, and a line of dialogue out of a hat. Now, the difference being is that every team will have a different genre, but every team will have the same prop, the same line of dialogue, and the same character in their films. And so it's really interesting to see how all the teams use that information. Usually it's a simple prop. Like this year we had a brush. The character is always difficult. This year we had a candidate named Kirk Trentwell, or Christy Trentwell. And the line of dialogue, which you'll see in our film, was stop talking and start doing. So, but anyways, so once you have that, you race back to your home base, and you start the brainstorming process. You get an idea for a film, you start the writing. And as soon as the writing is done, it's usually around midnight to 1, 2 in the morning. I would say for our team at least. Midnight to 1 or 2 in the morning. And once that's done, that's usually the only time that you kind of would have a good chance to sleep as an actor, depending on the script. If there are indoor scenes that don't need daylight, boom, you're acting immediately. But depending on the script, you could get a good chance of sleep there. But anyways, then you move on to filming. You get the film. That's the long day. That's the really long day for everybody. Unfortunately for myself, I was part of all 3 phases. I like to break the 48 into 3 phases: writing, filming, and editing. And I was part of all 3, so there was not any opportunity for sleep there. As soon as the filming is done, you guys all head back home. Actors can go home and finally get some sleep in their own beds, eat real food instead of pizza takeout and stuff. and then you jump into editing, and that was me this year. You jump into the editing, you get that done, and that is for me as an editor. And editing is my day job as well, not just something I do for the 48. That is my everyday, day-to-day job. And one of the
we have therapy animals in my fabulous studio. They just like to drift around.
So the editing is definitely for me the hardest part. Not because I don't like editing. I actually, like I said, it's my day job. It's a thing I do all the time. But after you've been filming for 15, 16, 17, who knows how many hours, and then your body gets the signal, we're done. We can get some sleep now. And you know you can't. So you have to sit there at a computer, and usually the rest of the crew deservingly went to sleep. So you're up alone in the middle of the night, and you're trying to focus on a computer screen and making little cuts and getting all the little imperfections ironed out, because you want it to be as perfect as you possibly can. There's a lot of competition in this town. a lot of really good competition. And then the editing, and then the best feeling is when you get to hit render. Depending on your film, you need to hit render really early. We got lucky this year. We didn't have any color corrections. We didn't have any special effects. We didn't have anything. Our render took about 15 minutes.
Amazing.
But I have been part of films, like the first year we did it, our render took 4.5 hours.
Ooh.
And I've also heard during other 48 hours, not my group, that there have been renders that have taken 8 to 9 hours. It is definitely something that is very important. I think a lot of teams forget about, and and a lot of times when you go to a screening for the 48 and you see a film that it doesn't seem quite complete, it's because they didn't give themselves enough time to render. So they have to take special effects out or what have you.
That has to be like the worst feeling, putting all of that time and energy into a project, and then the rendering process is so long it causes the film to be late.
Yep.
And it still gets a screen, as I understand.
Yeah,
but
if you're late, you are definitely allowed to still be screened, but you are not eligible to win any of the possible awards. We dealt with that 2 years ago. We drew drama. We got our film done and everything, but the editing took so long, and it wasn't even the render. The render took about an hour, but the editing took so long that by the time we were satisfied with it and we were ready to turn it in, we raced the film down there, and we were 9 minutes late.
Ooh.
And that disqualified us, which was really disappointing to tell. Yeah, absolutely, definitely disappointing to put that much time in. But like I said, you do this for the love of filmmaking. If you want to join the 48-Hour Film Festival and all you care about is winning an award, please don't join the 48-Hour Film Festival. This is definitely a competition that is pure filmmaking and pure love for filmmaking. And if you don't have that, you're not going to enjoy yourself. But if you do love filmmaking, you do love performing, whether it be as a wrestler or anything else, you're going to absolutely love the 48. It's going to be one of the best and most tiring experiences of your life.
To touch on that, because you brought up wrestling, I know I have a lot of viewers here who know me from wrestling. Another parallel situation of the 48 that goes into wrestling is there was two wrestlers. I believe there was one named Mark Cordova and Jason Strife, and they were doing a special. They were trying to break the world record for longest pro wrestling match, which I believe is actually, I think the longest wrestling match ever in the history was a Greco-Roman match, like way back in the Greek days. It was like 40 hours, which is absolutely body exhausting. But these two guys, they had a match in the backyard of a promoter's house, promoter Gary App, for Epic War, and they wrestled for a total of 8 hours, I believe.
8 hours.
And so those two had to love wrestling to be able to put themselves through that. And I know I think the longest match I've ever done in my career, maybe 30 minutes, and
and you were dead afterwards.
Yes, I was quite dead.
Yeah.
And especially with there being an audience there and having to keep them entertained and just keep going. I believe it was an Iron Man match, so it was who got the most
pinfalls.
Pinfalls or wins. And so that must have been, if you submit yourself to something for a very long period of time, especially with no sleep, you really have to love what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Really have to love what you're doing. And those guys, I think the most they got out of it was recognition from people, a spot in the Guinness Book of World Records, and probably right now when I'm mentioning them on my podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
and that's the highest honor.
Yes. So not only with the 48-Hour Film Festival, I'm sure you've made other student films of your own. You said you went to ITT Tech, and you're an editor right now, so you edit videos day and night. But if you could have the opportunity to sit down and write your own movie, film it, and have all the actors you want in it, whether they be friends or celebrities, what is your dream movie, Levi? What is the movie that you want to make that if you had the opportunity to, like a big producer says, hey, I saw your 48-hour film festival. I love it. I'm going to give you 48,000 hours and $48,000 to make this cool movie. What do you got for me? What would you make?
Well, funny enough, I actually already have that script. It is called The Guilty Man. It is a script I've been working on for years and years and years. When I was in 8th grade, which is, I don't even want to talk about how many years ago that was. But when I was in 8th grade, my best friend right now, also my roommate, this guy named Jesse Young, he wrote a short story. It was back in the MySpace days. You make your little blog posts and post them out and all that, and your little emo poems, whatever, what have you. And he wrote a short story, and it was called The Guilty Man, and it's a very dark story. There's no happy ending in this film. It is the story of a man who has the seemingly perfect wife, perfect life, perfect child. Everything's just perfect. But behind closed doors, everything's not quite so perfect. His wife was cheating on him, or did cheat on him. They're trying to put their lives back together. It's not quite there. And one day after work, after he picks up his daughter from school, he walks in and he sees his wife in the middle of cheating on him. And in his anger, he grabs a gun and holds it to the lover's chest. And then something gets said to him that makes him snap, and he pulls the trigger. But when he pulls the trigger, the gun gets shoved to the side, and he ends up accidentally killing his daughter. And then in retaliation, he finishes the job of the lover and the wife. And the film ends with his suicide. It's a very sad film. It's very dark. Sorry to bring us all down here at the podcast. But it's a film that I've been working on. It stuck with me. I read this in 8th grade. And years later, like 5-6 years later, I'm in film class at ITT, and I'm supposed to write a 5-minute film. And I'm like, what in the heck am I going to write? And the first thing that jumped to my head was that short story. So I decided to turn it into a screenplay. And ever since then, I've been working on getting that thing done. But it's one of those films, I think everyone in the world, whether it be wrestling, filmmaking, or poetry or anything, I think all of us have that baby project. Yeah. That project that it's might as well be your baby. You're not going to do it unless you can do it to the fullest extent, to exactly what you picture in your mind. Whether it's successful or not doesn't matter to you at that point. It's just you want to make it perfect for you. And I think you could definitely relate to that in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
I think all wrestlers would have their dream match, their perfect match, that if they could choreograph every little freaking spot in the match and just make it exactly what they want, but damn near choreograph the crowd's reaction. I think we all have that.
Yeah. As some of you know, some of the viewers know, I myself am a filmmaker as well. I've made my fair share of short films. You can check them out on my YouTube channel, Tenacious TV. But those are kind of just honestly projects that I made solely out of just being bored. That's why they're so eccentric and kind of weird. But I put them up anyway, just because, I mean, it's something to add to my portfolio. When I was in high school, I made a lot more videos that were meant to be on the morning announcements, but of course, God knows they're never ever going to see the light of day. They were good stuff, but they're never going to see the light of day. And as a filmmaker, as Levi was saying, I've had many baby projects. I've had lots of stuff, lots of ideas where I've said to myself, I have to start writing. I have to go right now. I have to go type it out. And I do start typing it out. And then usually after maybe a page or two, this thought just kind of dawns in my head of, am I really ever going to make this? Is this really ever going to get off the ground? Is this really going to make sense? Because for me, the biggest struggle for me as a filmmaker is this project really going to go anywhere? Because when I do anything, whether it be acting, whether it be making the movie, whether it be wrestling, whether it be speaking somewhere or announcing, that is a representation of what I can do. And if I'm going to put something out that I can do, I want it to be the best I want it to be the best it can be, especially if it's something that I put a lot of time and effort into. So I definitely can relate to other filmmakers really having their baby project, and why even big time filmmakers like Quentin Tarantino. I know he held Kill Bill off for a very long time because the time just wasn't right until he fully was able to sit down, know what he wanted, and then he was able to make it.
And even more recent, he wrote The Hateful Eight like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The Hateful Eight's been in production for a very, very long time. But the one thing, with all of this being said, that I would say to any inspiring filmmakers, wrestlers, any type of entertainment, or, you know what, screw entertainment, just anything you want to do, never be afraid to post something. Art is art, and there will always be someone that appreciates what you do. Just don't post something hoping for that 50,000 views or that 10 million views. If you don't post it because you love it, then you're doing something wrong. And that's in any field of life.
Even with podcasting right now, one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast is because it has been something I've wanted to do for a very long time. It's not, if I could really have it my way, it would be in an even fancier and professional studio than it's in right now, and it would be with my best friend.
How it could get much more fancy than this.
Yeah, and it would be with my best friend Colton, who unfortunately right now is in Colorado on his mission because he is a Mormon, which is totally cool. But me and him have always talked about doing podcasting together and just being able to sit down and goof off. And although this, you couldn't exactly call this goofing off because this is really a very professional and structured conversation we've been having. Yep. But when I post these things, when people listen to them, and whether I only make it to 2 episodes or I make it to 100 episodes, I just want to walk away from it and people coming up to me say, the main thing I want out of podcasting is just for people to enjoy being able to sit down or relax or going through their daily activities and being able to listen to this podcast and enjoy it and take something from it and get inspired from it, whether it be about wrestling or filmmaking or something as dopey as podcasting. If you're listening to this and you have a dream, whether it be any of the things I just listed, go out there and do it. Don't be afraid to put it out there.
Absolutely. Now, I would love to hijack your podcast for one moment, and I see this isn't anything that's on your list that you have in front of you there. And I actually want to ask the viewers, as you mentioned slightly earlier in the beginning of the podcast, I met you through improv. Yes. I was your improv teacher when you were in 7th grade and 8th grade. I kind of introduced you into that world and all that. Also introduced your best friend Colton into that world. And you guys went on to do awesome things with improv in high school. And so I know that a lot of your viewers are big wrestling fans, as am I.
Yeah.
How has improv affected your wrestling persona? How has improv and all of those skills that you learned in improv affected you as a wrestler?
I definitely say the number one thing that it has that from improv that is implemented into wrestling has to be confidence. When your improvisation is completely unscripted, is completely off the top of your head, and when you're doing things, especially on stage with an audience there, whether it be in wrestling or improv, you don't say a line and go, I think this is the line. You go up there and you go, I know this is the line. I know what I'm doing. So when I'm in the ring with anybody, whether it be 1 year or 5 years, I commit to what I'm doing. I am confident in what I'm doing. That's why from the moment I go through the curtain to the moment I exit back into the locker room, I am Ricky Tenacious. I show people what Ricky Tenacious is all about. I show people what Ricky Tenacious can do, and to the fullest. And this is a kind of a slogan that I picked up from Al Snow, which some people will say is kind of an unhealthy thing to pick up for me as a slogan to live or to wrestle by, I should say. And that is, you're only as good as your last match, which is something I thoroughly believe, because you can be wrestling for 10 years, which is pretty much the average for a lot of the independent guys who get signed to WWE or just get a tryout. And you've been wrestling for 10 years and you've been working your ass off and you've made all of these sacrifices and your body is aching, and now you are finally at the big dance. You are finally at where you want to be. All of the traveling and the sacrifices and the frustration has finally come to this day, and you get there, and some guys they mess it up, and they have a tryout match and just not up to par with what Bill DeMott or what Triple H wants, and then from there on, it's just a handshake and good luck in your best endeavors. So when I go out there, I want to make sure that not only does this top the last match, or if it's as good as the last match, but people will say, wow, that was really good. Wow, I need to see this guy again.
Absolutely.
And I will admit that I have, lately I haven't had the best matches that I could have. But even with improv or any performance, you just learn from it, and you make sure you don't. Yeah, you learn from it, move on. You make sure you don't make the same mistakes again. Yep. And on that topic of improv, I think because we're kind of talking about doing what you want to do, and let me ask you, what was it? Whose idea was it for the high schoolers, the people in your group, to come to my middle school in 7th grade and teach us improv? Like, what was the?
That was my idea.
Okay.
Part of it was a little bit of a selfish idea. I have always, my entire life, wanted to be a teacher, theater teacher. I don't know what it was. Ever since I was a elementary school kid, I want to teach. And I knew that with my love for theater and my love for filmmaking, as I got older, as I was in college and late high school, I knew that that wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to go to school for that. I was going to go to school for something else. And also, teaching doesn't pay the bills like it should. But we're not going to get into the politics of how teachers should be paid. But anyways,
that is a different podcast.
That is a different podcast. It's a very different podcast. So I decided, I talked to Ray Criswell, our director. He was also one of Ricky's former improv teachers. My roommate Jesse, and for the first year, my improv buddy Jonathan. And we all kind of just decided. I said, what if we, Miss Ring liked us. That was the teacher, your teacher at the time, your theater teacher. Yeah. Miss Ring liked us. I said, what if we go up there and offer our time to create a improv class that we have once a week at the school, and just see what happens. I always thought at the time that maybe middle school kids would be more receptive to someone that was closer to their age, like us. I mean, sure, we were a good 5-6 years older than you guys, but it's different than being a teacher. I think sometimes just older peers can have more of an impact than a teacher, depending on the situation. But yeah, so we decided to go up there, and honestly, I think we taught there for about 6 years before we stopped doing it. And it was time of my life. It was one of the best times ever. I loved teaching improv. And with that being said, you were definitely one of our best ones. And I love how you took, I feel like with your character, your persona, Ricky Tenacious, in your wrestling, coming out, blowing vape in kids' faces.
Damn right.
Being the real loud guy of the match, walking out there and just screaming shit in the middle right before you do a move. I like that because in improv, our biggest criticism to Ricky when he was in 7th and 8th grade, our biggest thing that we would always tell him is, Ricky, you have to know when you're not the center of attention in the scene. You steal scenes. You have to know that sometimes you have to give them the scene. And I love how, in a way, you said, fuck that. And you took it and you turned it, and it's like your character is like the raw emotion that you had in 7th and 8th grade, and that's just the character plus vape.
Yep. Basically, that is Tenacious.
That's Tenacious.
Before we wrap up here, because we are talking about doing things and how it can pay off in the future, and I remember walking in I remember the class 7th grade drama, walking in and seeing you and a few of your colleagues.
My Jesus hair back then.
Yes, your long, very luscious hair.
Yep. And
then Miss Ring saying that you guys are going to do some improv for us. And for me, the main reason why I got into theater was because my mom had always labeled me as like the funniest person she ever knew. I was always very class clown oriented. That was just my personality of being really goofy. So especially in a subject of theater that really targeted towards comedy, which it's ironic because the dictionary definition of improv is to not be funny. It's just off the top of your head. It's just it naturally becomes funny. And honestly, that class, the games you guys did was so hilarious. I remember laughing. I think there's only 2 times in my life where I can vividly remember laughing my ass off, and that was the day that you guys came and did improv, and the day I saw the movie Bruno. And so with that being said, you guys, doing the club and giving these young kids these opportunities to showcase what they can do, and being able to.
And that was definitely the best part about it.
Yeah,
was seeing you young kids, you, Colton, Will, and I mean, there's a lot of people that are in the wrestling business right now. Well, not a lot. There's 2. There's you and Will, which I think your viewers would more.
AKA Young Boy.
Young Boy. He was a former improv student of mine.
And we all know how he's ended up now.
Yeah, absolutely. And but yeah, it's just great seeing you guys move on and doing big things in entertainment, and knowing that improv may have played a small part of that makes me feel great. Makes me and Ray and Jesse, that makes us feel great. Improv is good. Whether you're a performer or not, go take an improv class. Help you with job interviews. Help you with anything else in life. Absolutely, go take an improv class. Go find one, take one. You'll love it, and it'll help you out.
Yes, and even very much more yes. It's honestly hard to imagine a world where you didn't come up with that idea and come and teach that, because I honestly think that if you did not, or if Miss Ring didn't allow you guys to come in and show us what improv is all about, me and Colton probably would have still been very goofy, but maybe not as goofy, and didn't have as much inspiration or opportunity to showcase just how goofy we can be. And improv is actually one of the main reasons why pretty much the only reason why I actually met Young Boy and became good friends with him and a few other cool people in the theater business, or just theater in general. And then I went on to high school to do improvisational theater and competitions and stuff like that. And honestly, improv has given me some of the greatest memories of my life. Speaking of improv, I just want to remind everybody here that this Saturday the 11th, I believe. No, the 10th, excuse me. Saturday the 10th at the Onyx Theater, which is in Commercial Center at 953 East Sahara. That should be familiar to all my viewers, because that is the same shopping center where Big Valley Wrestling does their shows, in the Sahara Event Center. But just across the way in the Onyx Theater, a very old school theater, there will be an improv show sponsored by Jester's Improv. Jester's Improv is the company that I went through to do competitions in high school. Another really awesome group headed by this really cool dude named Kopi. The Onyx Theater is kind of having financial troubles right now. So it is a huge fundraiser. Tickets are only $10 for students, and then $15 general admission. So if you have the time, the show is at 2 p.m. Saturday, September 10th, improv show. I will be performing on stage. There will be 3 shows in totals over the weekend, one on Thursday, one on Friday, and one on Saturday. So if you can make it out, please make it out. It would be much appreciated. It would be very, you'll be doing a very good thing, and I'm sure everyone will appreciate your donation. So without further ado, Levi, I want to thank you very much for being here today, being an awesome guest, and sharing your side of the story for 48 Hour Film Festival.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So before I leave here, I want to remind all my viewers about some upcoming local independent pro wrestling shows coming up. We have Paragon Pro Wrestling will be live at Samstown September 9th. Bell time at 6:30. We have Future Stars of Wrestling, which will be Saturday, September 10th, the same day as the improv show. Bell time is 7 p.m. That show will be live from their Arena on 6035 Harrison Drive. Then we have Big Valley Wrestling, my home promotion, September 25th. Our usual start time of 2 p.m. Sunday, of course, Sahara Event Center. More information, just visit my Facebook or Big Valley Wrestling's Facebook. We have Lucha Libre at Las Vegas, which will be September 18th in the back lot of the Fremont Country Club. If you love Lucha Libre, then you are going to love this show. Lucha Libre legend Psychosis, Damien, and Bestia 666 will be wrestling on that show, along with Lucha Underground star Willie Mack, Vegas favorite Funny Bone. And of course, we have Freak Show Wrestling. Their next show is October 22nd, which is Dust and Bone. Main event will be Funny Bone versus former WWE superstar Cody Rhodes. So a buttload of wrestling action for you guys to go and check out. Without further ado, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for listening. I will see you guys next Monday here at 3 p.m. on the Tenacious Time Podcast. And just remember that is Tenacious. Thank you very much. See you guys later.